think the perception often about Vevo is that we are, synonymous with YouTube, but ultimately we are owned by Universal and Sony. We're a publisher, and within our network, within YouTube, we make official content. There's no filler. It's all killer. It's all made for TV videos from those labels, and we distribute through in historics through YouTube. But we now have the opportunity through the connectivity rising around the world in terms of TVs and so on like that, to launch our own apps, to make partnerships with the likes of Samsung TV Plus, or LG or Pluto when it comes to the States, in order to launch linear channels and serve our viewers in that way. So we are very much kind of exploring the opportunities that kind of increased connectivity is allowed. IP delivered TV in order to grow our viewership. Ultimately, we want to be and go back to the roots of being a TV network, a music TV network. We're just a modern day version of that, using all of the platforms at our fingertips in order to do so.
Yeah, we've lived through the last 5 to 10 years of growth in video on demand and on-demand consumption. But Vevo's sales pitch lately says music TV is back in the living room. There was a time when it was in the palm of your hand. Where do people want to watch their music videos these days?
Well, crazy enough, if you look back into even a decade ago when Vevo launched, really, it was very much a mobile proposition and desktop. Believe it or not, that existed. And so that was very much a big portion of where our views came from. Snap forward even to 2017, pre-pandemic. And actually, probably around about 25% of our views were starting to come through a bigger TV screen as connectivity started to rise. Moving on to now, we're around about 30 to 40% of those views are now coming through a TV screen. Agnostic to platform, this is looking at the viewing data across all of our kind of endpoints. So we, as an entity, are very much kind of leaning into that. And our goal really is to be, there for the viewer. We're not making our own platform and restricting how it's distributed. It's about where the viewer wants to watch that music video, and because of that, we get huge amounts of views across the world. 25 billion impressions every month, and if you look at the likes of UK alone, for example, now the TV screen uniques a month we get through a TV screen is 12 million, and that's not small by any means. And across platform, we're around about half the country is watching a Vevo video every month. So we're very much an entity in the background. We're subliminally those kind of little logos at the bottom of videos, but ultimately we are a big publishing TV network.
And is it still very much about the music video, that sort of 3.5 minute video, or are you expanding into other kinds of content?
So there is other types of content, but music video is very much still the kind of heart of that. Ultimately we were set up, as I said, by Universal and Sony to get their official content out there, and that's down to really kind of the historics of how it's being distributed. Because ultimately, if you have spent millions of pounds on Beyonce's video, and that's being advertising next to that versus some user-generated content on YouTube, there is a difference in the kind of quality there, and that's really why Vevo as an entity was set up, to kind of elevate the quality of the content and the premiumness of that video within that environment. So we very much are trying to kind of lean on that and use that moving forward.
Vevo's carried across an absolute plethora of different platforms and services and devices, very, very extensive footprint, which many people say is a challenge and is something that leads to some friction, that diversity of platform volume. But Vevo this year was given certifications by TAG and IAB UK for reducing fraud, brand safety, supporting privacy initiatives. Tell me what buyers and viewers even are asking for in terms of trust and quality of experience, especially given that you don't control all of those platforms.
Yeah, we don't control all those platforms, we do control the content on them, and that's the most important part. And every platform we do distribute through has to stand up to those standards that you mentioned there. I think another important part to us is that, you know, the music videos that we produce are editorial-led production values. There is a filter as to, you know, what that content has, and we do make sure that there is that kind of rating systems around our videos as well. So we have a network of our own content. It's produced by us, and we know accordingly it stands up to rating systems, you know, just like cinema would in terms of how that's you know, advertising fit effectively for those videos.
And we're seeing a renaissance, if you like, of the live experience. Like I heard today that live is back. You offer, I believe, an EPG programmed experience.
Yes.
Why are we seeing so much activity around the programmed experience of late?
I think it's you know, the experience really, it's that choice, you know, you know, not necessarily talking about Vevo, but the fact that people get tired of choosing a lot of the time, and sometimes they do, you know, especially in the music environment. If you think about, you know, the success of radio and so on like that, is you want to be told what's coming up and, you know, new tunes, and kind of introduced to things in that way. So the format has always worked very well with music and the music video. But also at the same time, there's no reason why in this modern world we can't have, you know, pop as a channel, you know, decades as a channel, for example, certain genres as a channel. But you know, in a maybe a few years' time, we also have my Vevo as a channel, which is working off the algorithms of what you liked and using the kind of interactivity with those videos, that then puts together a linear feed of all the videos that they think you might like in terms of moving forward as well. So it's very much kind of, yes, leaning on the past because it works, and also people do like to sit back and watch things, you know, back to back. We often see, we also often have a friction in market in terms of being short form video and so on like that, but we very much see through research our experience is episodical. People sat down watching for half an hour, you know, back-to-back music videos, very much like a linear experience like it used to be back in the 80s. But that doesn't mean that we can't start to use that technology in order to improve that experience moving forward as well.
Great. Thanks for your time, Rich.